Grace and peace. Welcome to another episode of the TBT Show. I'm Anthony Moten, my friend and brother and partner in crime, as always, is the Right Reverend Shawn P. Aguilar. Shawn, how are you?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Better than I
If he would have stopped at fantastic, this would have been a very unique setting.
No, it don't need to be unique, man.
Thank you for joining us this week. There's a lot that we have to discuss.
Yes.
So we'll jump into the first one. Now let Shawn just kind of give us a brief overview before we begin to give any commentary.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about probably one of the greatest athletes.
Oh yes, one of the greatest athletes
of all time
to play their particular sport.
Right.
But it has come out recently that Serena Williams, tennis great, was baptized about a week ago, as of this recording, at a Jehovah's Witness assembly in Florida. She's a 23-time Grand Slam winner. And so in their tradition, they describe this as being initiated at the Kingdom Hall, and this was in West Palm Beach, Florida. She's recently married to Alexis Ohanian, who is not particularly religious, according to Serena, but she's saying that he is supportive. So she was saying that she was raised, but didn't really practice. Not really a practicing. So she stated this: being a Jehovah's Witness is important to me, but I've never really practiced it, and I've been wanting to get into it. Williams told Vogue back in 2017, Alexis didn't grow up going to any church, but he's really receptive and even takes the lead. He puts my needs first. Right.
And I don't,
finding faith. In 2023.
And listen, before I get any emails, finding faith is always good. And we can, of course, we can question, a whole lot of stuff, but finding faith wouldn't be one of those. But the timing seems to be unique, in the sense of, I think it's, she just put down tennis, and then just that, kind of confessed of her struggles with, tennis being missing, in her world. So to put that down and pick this up, just the timing, and again, you were raised Jehovah's Witness, and for those, those of us that know her upbringing, intimately by book or, even that movie presentation.
Yeah. King Richard.
Yeah. It's been a part of it, but to say I was raised that, but didn't practice it, but now suddenly, I want to practice it. And just, I just, finding faith again is always good, but you don't want to do it as a knee-jerk reaction to losing something,
Well, and that's, I've seen some things in the news that people are seeking spirituality after, seeing things that happened in the pandemic. I think it's awakened a lot of people's, hey, things aren't just, gonna just eat, drink, and be merry,
Right.
type of deal.
Right.
So I think that there is a hunger for answers. For me, my question is number one is not just about finding faith in general. I mean, you can have faith in the flying spaghetti monster, in the words of Richard Dawkins, but finding true faith and saving faith. Of course, we would advocate that that's only in the person and work of Jesus Christ. And so, but yeah, I mean, I think this highlights a hunger that is out there. And I think in particularly in her life, this is filling the void. Her life was consumed by being, the best that she could be, and I think she accomplished it. And even in that, like as you stated, the movie presentation, King Richard, is that her dad was, hey, Venus will be first, but you will be the best.
Right.
So even though the movie mainly highlighted Venus, if you remember at the very end, that, hey, she'll be, because she was kind of, the Serena's character was kind of down because all the spotlight was on Venus. It's like, hey, she's the first, but you'll be the best.
Right.
And so what happens when you're done with being the best at a sport, and now you need to be a wife and a mother, so I pray that she would in her search find true saving faith, which can only be found in Jesus Christ. And my concern is that it's just a new hobby horse.
And that's why I said timing.
You see what I'm saying?
And
I'll just go ahead and say out loud the quiet part is, is that, it seems to be that, hey, you had something that consumed your life that was your life. That was your North Star. That was your guiding light, all that different stuff. And so now that that's over and done with, now we have to get on with the business of life and being a wife and a mother. So then where do you find purpose?
Right.
Okay, well, let me go to religion, to find my purpose and fulfill that need. Because being great at something, whether that's sports or whether that's in your profession, that can consume you.
Absolutely.
And that can be, oh, hey, that's your identity. You're identified by your business card and your bank account, or you're identified by the awards and the championships that you win. But when the music stops, when the chants go quiet, and when you see what I'm saying, and there's no more camera lights flickering, and then it's just, okay, I've made millions, and now I want to, raise my family and live a normal life. Well, where's the fulfillment?
And I think that's I don't necessarily have an issue, just a question. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest portion of the question for me. I am not a big time we offer Christ to you type guy at funerals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that comes from. Because I think sometimes when something is taken from you, feeling it with something else is just a knee-jerk reaction.
Right. Yeah. In terms of the emotionalism,
right.
Instead manipulation. I see what you're saying.
Thinking through it and letting it be a, not a decision. Because again, living out, any kind of spiritual life is going to take commitment.
Right.
And commitment sometimes, hurts. And so you don't want to, make a commitment that you won't see through 3 weekends up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's just the timing that's kind of unique. Fact that you're well acquainted with, with the faith, Jehovah's Witness faith.
Right.
But you didn't practice it for 40 years.
Right. So that's a concern.
Now all of a sudden.
Right.
Like, and again, faith is always good, before the emails come, faith is always good to find, whatever. I just question the timing. And I pray that, it's something that she'll, stick to, and not just stick to, as you stated, something that she'll dig a little bit deeper into to find what we would qualify the only saving faith.
Right.
Which would be in Jesus Christ. And so, I don't know nothing bad. Just, I just kind of question the timing of it.
Well, yeah. And I think it's just a highlight for everyone in terms of whatever it is that you hold that is, what your identity is. If it's outside of Christ, if it's outside of your relationship with him, then nothing else is going to fill that void.
Right.
You might be able to run from it for a while. You might be able to distract yourself, with something else for decades.
Right.
But eventually the music stops, and eventually you have to face, hey, there's more to life than tennis and being great at tennis.
Right.
There's more to life at,
Whatever
running
it
a
is.
successful business. There's more to life, than getting drafted to the NBA. There's more to life. You see what I'm saying? Then insert whatever, personal accolade or professional accomplishment, because
even just the pursuit, even
just
some people,
the pursuit thereof.
Right.
Yeah, and so it's like, hey, we're gonna all have to face that at some point. Right. So and so she's dealing with that right now.
Right.
But
yeah. Wish her well, and always, she's been, always one of my favorite personalities, not just athletes. And so of course I pray that she finds not only what she's looking for, but what she needs. Which all of us need, and that's salvation through Jesus Christ. So praying with her as always. But just thought that was newsworthy, especially the timing, her decision to be baptized could have happened anytime, because she said it's always been important to her. But just the timing is unique, that's all.
Speaking of people that need to be prayed for and interesting timing, your buddy, your pal,
my pal,
Donald J. Trump. Very interesting. I remember a particular set of pastors embracing Donald Trump. One in particular resides in this same great state of Texas that we do, Pastor Robert Jeffress. It was, according to, I believe it was Texas Monthly, that had named him the Trump Apostle. And so I wonder what would be his reaction to this particular story that happened recently. Is that the Christian right's favorite president, according to the American Conservative, just hosted a log cabin Republican gala at his Florida home, celebrated what he called our movement. So if you're not familiar with this was a celebration of the LGBTQ community that has a conservative leaning. So Donald Trump, who was lifted up by these conservative pastors and embraced by the religious right as, this moral leader, right, is now having at his home in Mar-a-Lago and calling our movement the LGBTQ movement. Interesting turn, because I don't ever remember hearing anything about this in 2016 in his campaign. I don't remember hearing anything of the kind during his governing. So I find the timing interesting.
Here's my thought. Expressly with not just Trump, with all Republicans. And it's going to seem like I'm picking on Republicans, but I just think when we start talking about, because we call them the right, the moral right, all of that is about political or personal expedience. And as you can see, he was totally against, anything LGBTQ during his time in office. But now that the chips are down and people have left and the music has stopped, now he has the one who wants him. And again, all of that is, and I know it's hard for us to do with a two-party system, but I don't think moral standards are always or should always be kind of infused into the political whatever. Because again, like now, so I had a question with Pastor Jeffers initially because you're upholding Donald Trump as the representative for the moral right. Mm-hmm. So here's a pastor that said, Donald Trump's his guy. He's, he represents us, morally, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This multiple married man.
Well,
he's been married more than twice.
Right. So he's been divorced. He's had extramarital affairs.
Who said out of his mouth,
right?
Grab her,
right?
Down there, and right in the region,
right?
Like
right, in the southern hemisphere,
and you're going to hold him up as
when you're a star, they'll let you do it. Yeah, that's what the man said.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Made fun of handicap, who encouraged violence.
Differently able, Reverend.
Oh, that's okay. Differently able. Then,
yes, sir.
He who encouraged violence and you're holding him up. So here's a question: what does Pastor Robert have to say now? Not just him, but all those pastors that held him up.
Yeah, what say ye? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I'm sending out the signal from Houston all the way up to Dallas, and I want to know, Robert Jeffers, what say ye?
Because I'm not surprised.
What say ye?
Okay. Let me ask you this: Are you surprised by because it's Donald Trump?
Of course not. Of course not. I'm not surprised.
It's Donald J. Trump. So again, it's just you put this man in who hadn't showed that he had a moral barometer in this elite moral group, and now to y'all he's flip-flop because he's went from hosting. And
then also you're talking about an individual in Donald Trump that could not give his favorite Bible verse, could not even distinguish whether the Old or New Testament. He had a preference and said it's personal. I don't want to get into it. It's so personal that
2 Corinthians,
right?
The 2 Corinthians killed me. It's like I've heard it say a bunch of things, but
2 Corinthians, John. holding the Bible upside down. I mean,
but that's what happens when you hold up, and again, Donald Trump's always going to do what's best for Donald Trump.
Right. And here's the deal. So I just
morally or otherwise.
This just came across my desk. So there's an article from Mediaite. There's a great disloyalty. Trump rails against evangelicals like Robert Jeffress abandoning 2024 run. And so when he says abandoning, all it is that he just doesn't have an open endorsement on him. Does that make sense? He just has yet to endorse his 2024 run.
Right.
Not that he won't.
But he hasn't.
Now it's 2023.
But he needs him to.
Oh, he needs anybody.
Yeah, he needs him to. And that's what he's like.
Tell me, are you that somebody? The songwriter says.
So if you're Donald Trump, it says a lot that he hasn't endorsed your 2024 run.
Right.
When you said out of your mouth, this was the best president the Republican Party had ever put in office. So you go from that to not, he should have endorsed his 2024 run in 2020 when he lost. So here we're 2 years up the road and you still haven't. And I know what it is. He's just holding his endorsement for who's going to be the best candidate at the time.
Yeah, because why should I waste my endorsement on Donald Trump
supporting a dead?
Yeah, whenever it's like, hey, there's a term in Wall Street whenever a stock hits like basically the absolute bottom, but then it has a little rally before going back down. It's called a dead cat bounce. And so what'll happen is, just like if you were to drop a dead cat, it'll bounce off the floor,
Doesn't mean it's living.
Then it'll go right back down. It's like that last breath.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because this is the same man that 2018, 2019, beginning of 20 was against everything LGBTQ.
Oh yeah.
Now he's for LGBTQ.
Well, because he's not really for any of these things. He's for himself.
Right. So here's my question. Was that the real him? What he said previously? Or is this the real him? Or is it just personal and political expedience?
Personal and political expedience.
Hey, look, whatever I said today is what I really believe.
All of the above. Right? No. Right. Because Trump is for Trump.
All of them.
Are you for us or are you for our enemy?
But all of them.
Say he's for Donald Trump.
All of them. Every Republican. I even go as far as to say every Democrat. All of them are for them. So they're going to say what's best for them.
Right. The difference is the glaring inconsistency of Donald Trump. Most politicians at least have some semblance of their own identity of who they are and what they represent, and they for the most part operate according to that. Mm-hmm. But Donald Trump just does whatever, whenever, however, to whomever, and it doesn't matter. And that's what I said, Alex, personal and personal expedience. Right. Personal and political expedience for 200. Right. That's what it is.
Right. Right.
But yes, I mean, I don't blame, Robert Jeffress, but for withholding it. But my deal is, hey, what say ye?
Right. Because you did heavily endorse.
Right. You heavily endorsed him before. Right. So hey, either there's an old Zydeco song. My family's from Louisiana. Old Zydeco song, and the song title is you is or is you ain't my baby. Is you is, or is you ain't.
Oh, is you ain't.
Hey, Robert Jeffress, is that your king? It's like, hey, what say ye? He either is the guy or he's not the guy. Now, you said before that this dude was God ordained.
That's what he said.
He said it. The words of his mouth, Reverend.
And now?
But now,
I guess he's
Ichabod.
Yeah, God has departed.
You see what I'm saying? The glory is departed. So hey.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I guess I do get it, but that's why, it just.
To me, this is just he's grasping at straws, and I think you encapsulated it really well. It's like, hey, he's dealing with whoever's going to deal with him,
right? But like, you think he's grasping at straws at this point?
Oh yeah, this is terrible.
Is it as terrible as it was last month or a month before? Who did he have at Mar-a-Lago a couple of months ago? And I said,
Kanye?
I can't believe Kanye and somebody else.
Kanye and I don't remember the guy's name, but he was like a, Holocaust denier.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, that's what it was. And it's like
it wasn't significant enough to remember.
I'm like, is that the real Donald Trump? Did we already see the real Donald Trump? Nobody knows the real Donald. It's like.
That's the sad part, is that there is no real Donald Trump. There is only today.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is only today.
Yeah. So how many other politicians do we support and throw, levy all of our, support and money and all that kind of stuff behind, and you don't know what they really feel in their heart, only what comes out of their mouth. Mm-hmm. And that's the issue with politics. So just because I run a certain way don't mean I'll govern a certain
way.
Right, because you never know what I feel. Then that's based on what's going on with me today.
In I don't know, this is gonna sound, but in Donald Trump's defense, in terms of the Christian right, he did deliver. He delivered Supreme Court justices. He delivered on moving the embassy to Jerusalem. He delivered on some religious right, commitments.
Right. But I think he did deliver on some actions.
Right.
But he sat back there, like their identity. It's like, I mean, they're just different. The Republican Party is completely different from, what you deemed a Republican to be in the 90s.
Well, because he's not a Republican. He's a populist.
So you came through on that.
Right.
But then now it's almost like the party is divided.
But now you're going against the principles and ideals of the party you're supposed to be the leader of. You got Kevin McCarthy over here, round 15, ekes away into the speakership, and thanks President Trump. But it's like, bro, President Trump is the reason it took you 15.
Right.
Not the reason you won on the 15th. He's the reason it took 15. Right. Because you got these few people over here. He probably could have won inside of maybe 5.
Right.
Normal stuff. Right.
Right.
But because there was 5 people that held up the whole show.
Yeah, this is
I heard another songwriter say that one monkey don't stop no show, but apparently in Congress that does not hold fast. Because literally one monkey can stop the show. Did you know that he had to give? Did you know that he had to give a concession to the people that didn't want him, that they could basically have a vote of no confidence in his leadership by one single member?
Really?
Of the House? Oh yeah, one Republican that doesn't like what he's doing can press pause on the whole thing and say, hey, I think we need to look at this another way. He's the weakest. He's going to be the weakest Speaker of the House in the history of the country.
Wow. That's what I'm like.
All that just to get the gavel.
Right. But it
might as well, be one of those, little, number one foam fingers, because there's no power
in the gavel.
In the gavel.
Yeah. And you said like all this is because of Trump. So it's like, yeah, he came through on the big things, but it's all of the little things.
But here's the problem. So now you go this whole other way. What makes you think that Robert Jeffress wants to endorse this?
Right.
He's not stupid.
Right. Well,
he can't go embrace Trump and still wear a blue suit with a white shirt and a red tie and American flag, pin, and say, hey, I'm the pastor. Was it first Dallas?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. But I'm going to come over here and wrap ourselves in a rainbow flag.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
It's a bridge too far.
Right.
Job 38:11. Here, there too, thou shalt come, but no further. You see what I'm saying? That's what Robert Jeffress is quoting to Donald Trump. Hey, buddy, gone as far as we can together. It was a good ride.
And actually, I'm enjoying news stories like this.
No, I get it,
because it exposes.
Because he's got to be squirming,
And
all these guys that just, again, for the political expedience, because of not who they were for, but just who they were against.
Right. And that's what it was. I'm going to find that picture and make it my Facebook cover picture of all those preachers.
Oh, these guys right here?
If you haven't, send it to me.
Yeah. Boom. On your phone.
Yeah. Y'all gonna be my cover picture.
Mm-hmm.
At least for the next 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know opinions have changed.
Yeah. But here's the deal. I mean, values don't.
Yeah.
They don't change. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. That is, speaking of the Christ.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump can be different in the morning, the noon, and the evening.
The Trumper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, we'll see. So do you think that's it for his 2024 push for office?
No, he's gonna push. He's gonna push any direction where he'll be able to try to find support, but I think eventually he's going to have to face the cold, hard, brutal truth that his candidacy and election was a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, hey, he exploited it and tried to get the most he could out of it. Really, this dude's just trying to be in the political spotlight so he can try to stay out of jail.
Absolutely. Let's
just be very clear. He's multiple there's multiple cases under litigation against one Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
You got the Southern District of New York. You got what's his name? The special master.
John Wick.
The real life John Wick.
Yeah.
What is his name? Jack something. But dude,
Jack Smith.
Now that's like out of Clear and Present Danger. It's like, I feel like this is a Tom Clancy character.
Yeah.
Have you seen a picture of the guy? He looks like
stone cold face.
You could have swapped him out for Liam Neeson and Taken.
Yeah.
It's like acquired a particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. It's like I'm just saying, and Trump went off like, his wife and his wife's sister hates me, and he's buddy. It's bad. It's bad.
Wow.
Did you see how he was trying to do the what do you call it? The little digital token deal. What did they call those things? Can't remember.
He's gonna wake up at 3:00 in the morning and remember.
No, it's like it's like these people were trying to sell and make a bunch of money.
Bitcoin?
No, it's not like Bitcoin. It's a this is bothering me. It's basically like you own a digital picture.
Oh no.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick.
Wow. But I'm not surprised by
NFTs. There you go. Non-fungible tokens. So NFTs, he's selling Donald Trump NFT. Basically, it's like a digital collectible. It's worthless, bro. It's absolutely worthless. But he's selling it as like a collectible. You ever, like wake up at like 2:30 in the morning and somebody's selling some like collectible plates or something? It's like Cups. This, but just Donald Trump, and it's fake and digital. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even get a decent plate.
He on his grind.
I mean, he's a grifter. I mean, that's the deal. It's the new hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
scamming.
But that was
scamalations. In the words of D.L. Hughley, scamalations.
Not the good bishop.
Oh man. But hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
So, if we're gonna go and get on the red team, we gotta deal with the blue team too.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their hang-ups, got their issues.
So tell us what it is, and I'll
okay, so on the other side of the aisle, they love to talk about Hunter Biden's laptops, Hunter Biden's this, that, the third. Well, some of those things people may feel are blown out of proportion, so on and so forth. But there are certain things that are real world implications that have nothing to do with the laptop. Maybe it has something to do with the lap, but not a laptop computer.
But not the top.
Not the laptop computer. Hunter Biden has asked a court to block his estranged daughter from taking his surname, his last name of Biden. So apparently, Hunter Biden at some point got a young lady pregnant whom he's not married to. And this young lady used to be an exotic dancer.
His exotic dancer.
Oh, was it his personal? Like that, like oh wow. Like,
he was a faithful and trusted.
Faithful and true.
Right.
just call my name and I'll be there. That's what Hunter Biden has said unto her. So her name is London Roberts, not spelled the way the city is spelled, Lunden. But London Roberts was an exotic dancer, ex-stripper, and they got together, so on and so forth. And there was a child that came of that encounter, if you will. And so now, instead of having the young girl having the last name Roberts from her mother, she wants her daughter to carry the name Biden.
Right.
And Hunter Biden first denied that they had even met.
That he didn't even remember her.
Then it came out that she was on the payroll. So that kind of.
Then he denied that was his child.
And that was.
And they got Dana.
False. Yeah, exactly.
And
Dana don't lie.
Dana don't lie. Dana proved.
DNA.
Dana proved that it was his baby.
Yep.
Now he's saying.
You the pappy.
Now he's saying, I don't want her to have the Biden last name because it would interrupt her otherwise peaceful life.
Because right now it's peaceful.
The Biden name would cause all kind of people to, dig into, her, follow her, dig into her life, what it is, whatever. And let's just call it what it is.
You think that's not going to happen anyway?
Hunter.
We don't need Ancestry.com to figure this one out.
Right. And whatever her last name is,
right.
She's still a Biden.
Right.
Hunter is a walking mess up.
Where's the button?
He's just a walking mistake.
Yeah.
Man, like everything he touches,
it's not good.
Goes left. And
not good.
This is something that the Biden administration does not need right now.
No, this is bad. Because now everything that you used to try to levy against Trump, now he's, my classified documents. What about your classified documents? Well, my indiscretions. What about your son's indiscretions?
Right.
All that
my drug abuse.
Right.
What about Hunter's drug abuse?
Yeah. What about his drug abuse? It's like, and so it's like, it's just not good.
Yeah. My overseas financial dealings. Hunter's overseas financial dealings. This is just something that the Biden administration doesn't need. This is a hiccup in the road for. So, looking forward to 2024, like these kind of things will be brought up. Mm-hmm. And I'll quickly get me off my soapbox.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Hunter, like, how do you get yourself in these kind of messes?
I don't get it. This is just reckless.
Like you have, and I know sometimes there's some other families that have some other things going on, whatever. But most of those families don't have, financial wherewithal to deal with some things, don't have political names and, moving names to deal with some things. You're Hunter Biden. Like, how do you get in these type of jams? Like, it only proves
it's like, my deal is that, look, it's bad enough that you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be wrong, you at least don't have to be sloppy, man.
You can't even do
I'm
wrong.
not excusing.
Wrong.
Right. If you right. At least do the wrong the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're, but it's like, and again, this is not an excuse, and it's definitely not an endorsement. Not at all. But it's not like these things don't happen all over the world to other families of affluence. But they're usually handled in a different way to where all this stuff doesn't become public, And, I mean, he even tried to get out of paying child support saying he couldn't afford it. Come on. Okay. We could afford that 8-ball. So I'm just saying.
See that my thing is like, what would have been said if, because once the deed is done, it's done.
Done.
So what would have been said if Hunter would embrace the child?
Yes.
Did his best to take. Like, it's like at this point, what are you hiding? Now everybody knows everything. So now you're just coming off as a deadbeat.
Exactly.
Like, I don't get it. And then at every turn, and you mention it at every turn, you can't even lie right. Like, I don't even remember me. Like, you didn't know she was on your payroll? You had to know you were paying her.
Wow.
Then, it's not my child. You know that's an easy answer, right?
Right.
Like, we're gonna. Then once it is your child, yeah, she may be my child, but she can't have my last name. What are you doing? You're only making yourself look worse.
Right.
So now, are you not? You're not only are you scum, but you're a dirtbag too.
Right.
Like, just, hey man, it happened. Now at least be a dad.
So now you went from being a deviant to being fornicator, a liar, a deadbeat dad.
And you can stop there. That's bad enough. What's your day? Because
put down the shovel. I mean, it's like,
bro,
it's like,
give your daughter what you were given. And I'm not saying Joe Biden was the greatest dad ever. Like, who knows really? But he was available and around.
I kind of feel like Joe Biden was like the dad, though.
Yeah, super dad.
He does give kind of like super dad kind of vibes. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't
super
even
grandpa.
Assume that. But like, let's just say he was.
You don't know what happens behind closed doors,
right?
But from all appearances,
he was there.
You see what I'm saying?
Like, come on, man.
He tried to provide for you, gave you every opportunity, all that different stuff, blah, blah, blah.
I've said so many times, at my funeral, if somebody stands up and say, man, he was a solid preacher, cool. Mm-hmm. Or if somebody stands up and says, he was a good pastor, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Or he was a great friend, great brother, that's fine. As long as my sons can say, he was a good dad,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Open the gate, St. Peter, here come.
Exactly. Husband and father. I mean, that's the deal. That's what's most important. And you're not showing yourself to be anything of either.
Yeah. Hunter, if this ever gets to him, Hunter, you're trash for this. For this one, you're trash, buddy. Because
it's like, we can forgive all that other stuff.
Animals take care of their offspring.
That's true.
Come on, like, and at this point, like, you're covering this to say what name? Then like this. Like, the Biden name is so prestigious. Mm-hmm. Hunter's last name is Biden.
Right.
Obviously, the value has diminished greatly. Man, there's certain things as a human you just shouldn't do, and this is definitely one of them. So, Secret Service, y'all don't come for me, man. I ain't mean to go at Hunter like that. You trash for this one, buddy. You're trash for this one, man. This just makes no sense.
Not advisable.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Speaking of not taking care of the children.
His segues are killing me
today. Speaking of not taking care of the children, the Supreme Court of Texas allows the TEA, the Texas Education Agency, to take over Houston ISD. State-appointed managers can replace elected school board members in the largest district in Texas, according to Houston Public Media. Wow. So forget your election. Your vote doesn't matter because the performance is so bad. We got to come in and take over.
Well, that's kind of the drive, because the people that you had been putting in weren't doing that job good anyway. So now, and again, we've seen this before across the state. We've seen this before in Houston, right? So my beloved alma mater, of which,
yep, you got it,
which I got on a T-shirt today. Right. My beloved alma mater, district of North Forest Independent School District, was swallowed by TEA. And there were some personalities at Houston Independent School District that hoorayed and cheered it. And
did you say hoorayed?
Hoorayed, like hooray.
Like hooray and rated?
That
That you see what I'm saying? Because I was like, wow, that's interesting. I was like, that's interesting. Right? Who rated?
They were excited about it, and
I got you.
It was going to expand the size of HISD and give them extra facility and land and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And they did all that, and now look at where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and I know some people that work for Houston Independent School District, and I'm not saying anything about them because they are some of the greatest administrators and educators.
Sure, and I'm sure that there's people there that's working hard
that are the
to
greatest
try to make
in the
world.
world.
But what do you think?
But let's be honest, HISD has been trashed for a very, very, very long time.
Mm.
It is, you know, people looking the other way and not handling. And there's some things that just hasn't happened, from the board of trustees to even here just recently, HISD fired the principal at Yates, who had been doing a very an exceptional job.
Mm-hmm.
They fired her.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to address it in their board meeting, and I think it was last week or the week before, address it in the board meeting. So JY, which Jack Yates had some of the greatest alumni, the greatest alumni ever, JY showed up, including Roland Martin.
Okay.
Roland Martin made a trip down here, put his JY jacket on.
Shout out to Roland Martin.
Yes, sir, and spoke up for the president. They voted on it at the end of the night, and she was given her position back as principal of Yates.
Mm-hmm.
Still to this day, we don't even know why they were going to fire her. It's those kind of
WWB.
It's those kind of administrative moves.
Working while black.
Yeah, I mean, but it's Yates, so it's like, but those kind of administrative moves, it just further points to a district that's in disarray.
Yeah,
and HSD's been in disarray. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I said in 2019 when it came up the first time, that would be the best thing, not just for the district, but for the students.
Mm-hmm.
That TEA take over, and because when it can't be handled by local means, right. You gotta
right. Appeal to Caesar. Appeal to higher authority.
Hey, so and this is again, this is the best move, because if things keep going the direction that it's going, there won't be an HISD, at least with this move.
Right. You can attempt to salvage.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. To save what's already tore up. So, again.
So they specified Wheatley as they said the agency pointed to dysfunction at the school board, as well as years of what the TEA deemed unacceptable academic performance at Houston ISD's Wheatley High School. Mm-hmm. So apparently that was
that's one of the
sore spots.
That's one of them. And then again,
there's a new superintendent.
And I don't blame him, because he's new.
Yeah,
he's new. Again, like, certain things were turning upward.
Yeah. Well, they did turn around because Wheatley got, I guess, on after a couple years, they got a passing grade.
Yeah.
From TEA. So, Well,
what happened was, and I can't remember her name, the superintendent that just Lathan.
Okay.
She was making some moves and doing some things, but again, anytime you're trying
but she was temporary or interim.
She was.
They never made her officially.
Right. It was interim, extended,
right?
Longer interim,
right?
Whatever. But instead of just giving her,
give her the job.
Even that was politics, because
she
was the person for the job,
right?
So even she was making some moves and changed some things. And again, when you're trying to get an organization from a nosedive to pulling it up, it's going to take some radical moves that might not appease everyone. And so she was making some moves, but again, when you got to make moves and stay friend, so people can, nod, that kind of deal. That's why I say, the situation that it's in, the best out is TEA to come in and just do what it needs to do because TA is not worried about being nobody's friend, and not trying to keep a certain name. And so again, great schools, great administrators, great educators. I think it's just time for district to be kind of hands off and let those people do what it needs, what needs to be done. Because when you got a school like, let's be honest, when you got a school like a Wheatley, you need to pour more money and resources into that school to get it up than you would pour money into a Lamar or Bel Air or those kind of schools. And that hasn't been the nature of business for Houston Independent School District. So, again, I don't blame educators or administrators on these campuses that are seem to be troubled campuses. I mean, you can't make lemonade out of rocks.
Yeah, that's tough.
When you give me little to work with,
right?
And that's what it's been. While some of HISD campuses has, free driver's education, but I can't get tutors at a school that needs it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Those are the kind of moves that have been culture at, Houston Independent School District. So I hope what happened in North Forest does not happen to HISD. But that's what we're staring down. Anybody that knows I'm Smiley High, Kirby Middle, I'm North Forest till I DIE. So that's what it is. But hopefully this is a turning corner for the students in the district, because it's definitely needed.
Oh yeah. So please keep the current superintendent is Millard House II.
Yeah, good guy too.
And so he won an award for being like the #1 superintendent in like Tennessee, or maybe even the country. He was out in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So he comes with 25 years of experience, and so pray for him and his staff as they go through this transition.
Definitely. And then I feel sorry for him. They were down.
He's only been in a year and a half.
Yeah,
he's been a year and a half, and
they were down by 20 in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Don't put me in the game now.
Right.
Like,
get out there and be somebody.
Yeah, right. Put me in the game now. But that's what happened, and it's not his fault. And again, it's not the fault of most of the people that work to hold up. It's just, those at the top that make the decisions just did it without care and concern for our young people. So, I keep him in prayer. And then if you're in the Houston area, if you have an organization or a business in the HISD district, definitely reach out to see in what means you can help to assist. So because I'm sure we'll be needed in some spaces going forward. So,
yep. Well, our last story has to do with another court case. This time, instead of from the Supreme Court of Texas, is from the Supreme Court of these United States. And they are set to review a case of a Christian postal carrier who refused to work on Sundays. The United States Postal Service had an arrangement to deliver Amazon packages just in general. And this particular postal worker did not want to work on Sunday. And, according to the federal law, there needs to be reasonable accommodations made to help workers be able to observe their religion. And it got to the point where switching shifts and all these different types of things was not working. And so he filed suit. He filed suit against the United States Postal Service. So the case is about to be heard, and it'll be interesting to see how this case is heard and interpreted, and what decision is going to be handed down.
Yeah. So I mean, so what's your position on this? Because again, I don't, I'm going to come off hard. Well, first of all, let me say that he went into, I'm sure, if he's been with the post office longer than 5 years, he went into a changing climate. Because post office used to be, especially mail carriers, were off on Sunday. Then with the acquisition of Amazon, it was a volunteer basis. Then with,
then from volunteer to voluntold.
Right. With the turnaround of employment and now being down, numbers is, as far as employees, because I believe USPS is still doing temporary employees too, just to try to cover numbers. They were just that short. And, so, now it's volunteer basis is out the window. You're scheduled for, Sundays. So, because it's easy to say, and I've heard some people say it, if you want to be off on Sundays, work for Chick-fil-A. But he went into this with Sunday being his off day. So that's on one end.
Right. So he started out
with Sundays as an off day. And they switched it. They changed the rules on it.
I chose my particular industry in part because guaranteed close on Sundays. So don't have to ask for it.
Here's the other side. And that's what I want to know where you are with this. Here's the other side. Then where do we draw the line? Right? Because we're looking at him and his religion. What about 7-day Adventists who are going to need?
Well, that's Saturday the whole point, is that it's a government job. So you have everybody work when the other people go to their religious assembly. So then what are we going to do? Get off on Bible study night too? It's like, why not? I mean, here's the deal. I mean, think about it like this. So the Muslim holy day is Friday. Right. The Jewish holy day is Saturday.
Right.
Christians observe Sunday.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
So all you have to do is have the Christians and Jews working when the Muslims are off, have the Muslims and the Jews work when the Christians are off, and have the Muslims and the Christians work when the Jews are off. This is very simple.
And non-believers and pagan work every
day. Yeah, y'all work every day. Congratulations. Since that's all you believe, since that's all you deal with, you work every day. Well, you get Monday off. Yeah. You get Tuesday. So
I understand I guess I see it both ways, because I see the pressure of trying to accommodate for your own, personal worship. Then I see from a business perspective, if I accommodated for everything for everyone, then that would leave me just being.
Well, you already have that. The whole reason that this is even an issue is just because they want to deliver packages for Amazon on Sunday. And my deal is, hey, Amazon is well able to get packages delivered on Sunday. They can pay their own people to go ahead and do that instead of the United States Postal Service.
But they not. That's why they pull the Postal Service in. See, all of this comes from greed.
Correct. It's 100% coming from greed.
So Amazon wants the money for those Prime customers. We'll take your money and we'll outsource.
Right, we'll outsource this.
The delivery if the
last mile.
If it's if it's more than what we can do.
Right.
Then USPS, I don't know if you remember a couple years ago.
They need the money.
They was broke.
Right, they need the money. No, I get it. I mean, that they need the money.
So it's like, yeah, okay.
But part of the reason they're broke, I don't know if you heard about this, but they had to prepay 75 years of benefits because of your boy, Donald Trump. They wanted to cripple the United States Postal Service because you can't deal with mail-in ballots if there's no way to mail them in.
So, I mean, bada bing. Again,
chestnut checkers.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. If the mail don't run, then, it won't matter.
Right.
But so now in the wake of that, that's gone, but you still got these lasting effects where you tried to cripple the United States Postal Service. So now they're trying to find money. And so it's like, okay, well, Amazon, you want packages delivered. We got people to deliver the packages. And so it's like, hey, what difference does it make if you can't get your toothpaste and, whatever? You can't make it with You can't make it with Prime. It can't be 2 days. It's got to be 1 day.
Well, I mean,
from Saturday to Sunday.
If I'm awake, then I'm not gonna pay to wait, and that's why I said like a lot of it just stems from. But
that's the thing though. It's like, now if they want to do business with Amazon, that's fine, but we're given a principle to follow and practice in the Bible: work 6 days, rest on the seventh. And the traditional work week, we have more rest than that.
Right.
Most people are working 5 days and resting 2, or they have, a day off during the week, and then they have a day off that's the weekend, maybe Sunday or maybe Saturday or whatever.
And I don't think they're fighting against having a day of rest. It just can't be on Sunday.
Well, it just can't be on Sunday. But who does that affect?
Right. And Christians. Here's my thing. You can find someone else that wants to deliver on Sunday.
So here's the deal. He started. He got to the point where he tried to do everything he could do, but then it got to the point where the only thing that they would accept is that he's going to have to work on Sundays consistently. Period. So then he just missed shifts, just didn't show up. And I'm pretty sure they knew he wasn't going to show up. But ultimately, he ended up resigning in 2019 and then filed the lawsuit. Does that make sense? Right. So I was like, hey, obviously this isn't working. Cool, no problem. I'm out. But guess what? This is unconstitutional.
Right.
You guys are putting me in a situation where you're not making the reasonable, and it's not costing you, because the idea from the cases that have happened in the past that have precedents is that the employer has to establish basically that the employee being off for this religious exemption causes a significant damage to their business. Basically, we're going to lose something significant.
Right.
So it's like, hey, look, how much money are they really losing off this one guy with this one route?
Well, I think for them, it's the standard that it sets.
So the standard's already set.
Well, now you're saying this one guy.
Reasonable accommodation is already on the books.
Okay. So this one guy, this one route, him pushing the envelope means now maybe 10 guys and 10 routes. Because now if he, how we do.
But if they're
off on Sundays, I want to be off on Sunday too. But if half of them going to go to Bedside Baptist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just the mere fact of.
I think you're giving people a lot more credit. Because time and a half, I'll be there.
I mean, for them, and
you see what I'm saying? Most people, like, oh yeah, no, you don't have to work on Sunday, but we'll go ahead and keep this time and a half. Oh no. I mean,
right.
I mean, I guess I can catch the live stream later.
What happens when that Sunday is inside the 40? See, that's what I said. Like, I get it. I mean, because again, if you just want to pay overtime, I'm sure you can get somebody to do it.
Right.
But
somebody's going to sign
up. If you're the post office. I mean, you want to keep your overtime percentage down.
No, I get that.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'll just schedule you here and here and let Sunday be inside of there so I won't have to pay overtime. Like, I see both sides. Everyone should have, a viable chance and opportunity to worship and that kind of deal, whatever. But, you're a business. Then I remember as a boy, and I know you're probably too young to remember this. But I remember coming up, most restaurants were closed on Sunday.
Yeah. Most, not just Chick-fil-A.
Like there were a lot of stores and things, whatever. It's just in the recent 25 years or so that Sunday is just another day.
It's just another day.
And that,
sadly, that's how people perceive it.
And
But yeah, so here's the deal. So this basically this is a statement from one of the judges. Inconvenience to Groff's coworkers alone doesn't constitute undue hardship. Neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stayed Gerald Groff from the completion of his appointed rounds. So it's like, hey, bro. Just because this was an inconvenience to your scheduling or an inconvenience to other people that worked in the same route or whatever, that doesn't meet the standard. And this is from a circuit judge.
Yeah.
And this is from a George W. Bush appointee. You know,
I mean, I get it. Now we'll see what those moral right judges.
So attorneys for Groff argue that as a federal employee with the United States Postal Service, Groff was protected by Title VII from discrimination based on his religious beliefs and practices. They suggested the Supreme Court re-examine the precedent case TWA v. Hardison, the key case that determined the lower court's decision. So in terms of, prior to this. So now we're at the Supreme Court and it's about to be heard. So, I mean, this could be an important case in terms of perhaps changing how religious exemption is handled, between employers and employees. So,
and especially for those who are, federal employees.
Especially.
And this is going to mean something,
right?
Because now you're
something
going
to watch out for.
Absolutely,
something.
Now you're going to get more saved people that
because you're not going to see this on the Breakfast Club,
right? No.
You see what I'm saying? You might hear about Hunter Biden on the Breakfast Club, but you're not. But this has much more impact and import upon how you live out your life.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think it's important to make sure that we have safeguards, but also at the same time, business does need to be handled. We cannot, a business still has to run. But I think there is a way that if we don't let greed get in the way, that we can operate a business. Because there's many successful businesses that are not 24/7, 365 businesses.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
And some of it. As much as, hey, as business owners and business operators, managers, some of it has to fall on us as individuals, as the consumers. You see what I'm saying?
In what way?
Okay, so we push these companies to do everything better, faster, all this different stuff, blah, blah, blah. The only reason Amazon Prime is trying to get you toothpaste by 3 p.m. today if you ordered by 9 p.m. last night is because that's something that you're saying that you want. But the thing is, at what cost? Somebody has to bring that to you. Does that make sense? So at some point, we have to have some realistic expectations, in terms of, hey, 2-day shipping is lightning. But it's only not lightning in light of 1-day shipping.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Right. But you got so then there's a level of competition as well.
No, I get that.
So they're competing again, as I'm reflecting as a kid, very seldom did we order anything that came in the mail.
Right.
You got up, you went to the store, you went
to the store.
But now those stores don't exist because of spaces like Amazon.
Right.
And if you want to keep being.
But at the end of the day, there's no way that it's like you'll never do business with Amazon again unless they can get you a package the same day.
Man, I've vowed off Amazon for less. But that's just my own because again, as a consumer, you're going to meet my standard, or I'm going to spend my money with somebody else, even if it's $2.25. That's my $2.25.
No, I get it.
But
a lot of times people are paying a premium for this.
Yeah,
you see, it's not like you're saving. In every case, it's not like you're saving money because normally, in order for you to get 1-day shipping, you have to order a certain amount of items, and it has to be particular items that are in stock in their distribution centers that they can be put out quickly by a flex driver that is Amazon's 1099 last mile workforce.
Right. Right.
So people are paying
Amazon saying, we want your business so bad because we realize you can get this service.
No one else is doing this, by the way. No one else is doing 1-day shipping.
Okay.
No one else.
Okay. So to make it easier, because I know we live in an easy generation.
Right.
So even though no one else is doing it, and we're saying no one else, if it is someone else, they're not as big as Amazon. But using your example of toothpaste, what stops someone from just saying,
it would be faster to go to Walgreens or Kroger or H-E-B and get the toothpaste. So the only thing
that takes money away from Amazon. So Amazon's saying we want that.
No.
So we'll offer that.
I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. It's competition.
Yeah.
You know, because did you know on Uber you can have somebody bring you some groceries off Uber?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like,
and there's
Instacart.
So many spaces now.
Yeah, no. You know, all that different stuff.
Like,
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like,
it is ridiculous.
I opened up the app and it's like, not just restaurant delivery, convenience store, grocery, and Uber.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, so it's like, hey, I mean, I get it. Everybody's got to compete. But the question is that at what cost for our convenience? At what point do we reach diminishing returns as a society for the convenience of individuals?
I think it's more on businesses.
Because, I mean, like, even from the environmental aspect of it, it can't be that great for the environment, all these cardboard boxes that we keep making and throwing away. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to find out who's the largest cardboard box producer so I can go invest. Yeah. Because it's like there's an explosion of cardboard boxes, you know, and the accompanying, you know, mailing tape. You know, it's like who is this?
Yeah.
You know, but
I just think it's on the businesses. Just say, hey, look, you know, we won't do that. But
you see what I'm saying?
But
who's gonna do that?
Jeff's not gonna.
If there's a dollar or a dime to be made in it, they're gonna get to it. Does that make sense? They're gonna find it, because you got Uber that was started as a technology company that was focused on transportation that owned no means of transport.
And look how well they've done with no means of transport.
They own no means of transport, largest logistic, transportation company, if you will. And now, not only will they pick you up and take you to the restaurant, they'll go pick up your food and bring the restaurant to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
And everything in between.
Oh, and by the way, while we go ahead and bring you, your Five Guys order, we're going to stop at Walgreens and pick up the milk, eggs, and bread.
Right.
And drop that off to you as well.
Right.
Make sure to tip your driver.
Right.
You remember you remember Denzel and the Equalizer?
Yeah.
Make sure I get those 5 stars.
Yeah.
Make sure I get those 5 stars. So
yeah, man. It's built off of greed, man. It's built off of greed, and so you got to know from a company perspective, to a person that wouldn't say no to putting out a movie that was anti-Semitic.
And I'm not.
Everybody else was catching flack from it.
I'm not anti-Amazon.
And I'm not either. I'm just, if you're gonna offer that, you gotta commit to that.
Right.
But don't offer it, get my business, and then change.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, instead of getting it on Sunday, you'll get it on Monday. I may not need it on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's the thing. They do offer you a choice sometimes. And sometimes I choose to have, just send me everything on Wednesday.
Hey, here's the secret.
Because it's not urgent.
Here's the secret. If you deliver it on Sunday, it's going to stay on my porch until Tuesday.
Right.
Anyway. Just,
you see what I'm saying? And that's the deal, because I feel like if we're not careful, comfort and convenience can become an idolatry for us. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That literally it's like, oh man, everything is about my comfort. Everything is about my convenience. And, there's no day of rest.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't necessarily go to work, you're not going to work. But in you conducting commerce every single day. I mean, do you have to have something every day?
See, what do you think
come in the mail?
To Amazon's business if they say, hey, look, no Sunday deliveries?
I mean,
they won't lose any, but
I mean, they're not gonna not be a $1 billion company.
Right. And if they lose business, it won't be sizable enough to say. But if you're going to offer that, that's not on the consumer. That's on you as a business. But if you're Jeff, he don't care nothing about your religious views.
No, because he's on a boat. You see what I'm saying? He's on a yacht.
So again, it's us feeding.
He's not having to go out and do it. But the thing is that anytime you order is a person bringing it to you. They don't have the drones flying out yet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But that's a human being has to bring this to you, you know? And so, and this is how we get this situation. Cause if they hadn't contracted with Amazon and if we didn't have, you know, the situation, the culture and context that we have, this never would have happened.
Right. Right.
You know? Right. And I mean, I get it. Sometimes, hey, you need it when you need it.
Right. Right.
Even if you order same day shipping, it's not going to be there for like 6 hours.
Right.
You can't tell me that you can't get up and get ready and I mean, it's because I see y'all out there anyways, y'all, you know.
Yeah. But
y'all out there in slippers and pajamas.
Right.
You know, so it's not like you're putting on a 3-piece suit.
Right.
You know, or a Sunday dress with a hat just to go around the corner of CVS.
And that's what I say. It's not an expectation. I think it's in what we present, and we present it because we want that.
Well, yeah, it's the American culture. Yeah, you know, business.
Yeah,
you know, bigger, better, faster.
And again, this is what happens.
But eventually, that gets to a point where it's like, hey, wait a minute, is this really sustainable?
It's been there.
Is this really sustainable? You know, and it's like, hey, I love the convenience, you know, of being able, and everybody's trying to catch up. Walmart Plus, you know what I'm saying? They'll drop it off on your doorstep.
Yeah.
You know, same day.
Yeah, absolutely.
$35, same day. No problem. Everybody's trying to compete. Everybody's trying to compete.
Costco's does it. I can't think of the
Instacart.
Instacart
will do it.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it. And Amazon's trying to get.
For all of you believers, I know y'all use Grizzly. And he took the cup.
It was on the same night.
Grizzly will go to specs for you and load up. And I mean, we just live in that. But again, it's what.
But they don't deliver on Sundays.
I don't know.
It's closed on Sunday.
Oh, but that's right.
Yeah, liquor stores are closed on Sunday.
But we live in that culture to where.
Even the liquor store owners have the common decency. Well, that is, of course, under the compulsion of state law.
State law is different.
State law.
And they'd be wide open on Sundays as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We're a capitalistic society.
I mean, I'm pretty
sure. So we don't care about... Me and Eric are doing this devotional this year. And the very first devotional was don't put as much energy into institutions as you put into individuals. And that's the culture we live in. We're capitalistic, so everything is about business, business, and not.
And hey, look, I like logging in, you know, and pulling my phone. I want to see up and to the right, all the charts up and to the right. I'm with you. You know, I'm a capitalist. Does that make sense? So I was like, hey, look, the profit motive, you know, it's got to be there, you know. But at some point, it's like, hey. There are weightier matters than one day shipping.
I get it. I mean,
or not even one day, same day. One day is the next day. You know, I remember when Amazon Prime first came out, it's like, what? 2-day shipping? That's insane. Now it's like, oh, dude. 2-day shipping, that's
normal.
Slothful.
You're right. Y'all just being lazy.
Right, y'all just being lazy now. Like, come on, man. You know,
but that's the question. Like, is this sustainable? Like, we're sliding in the wrong direction. So
as a songwriter said, I think it was Brother Johnson, "Slipping in the Darkness." No, somebody else. No, that was a different artist.
You beyond me now.
Yeah, I went past you since you tried to make me so young.
Yeah, I ain't that old. I'm still 29.
I'm still 29.
Yeah.
Slipping in the Darkness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's by War. There you go.
Oh, well, yeah.
Slipping in the Darkness. You need to pull that up on Spotify.
We'll see.
Music. Yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
old. Oh, kicking it old school.
A little old school. I added to my old school playlist.
Yeah, that's real old school.
Listen, man, thank you for joining us on this week's TBT show. Shawn, you got anything coming up this weekend?
This weekend, not that I can call.
Busy man.
Always busy, but I'm trying to think of something. It's Lunar New Year, but that's about it. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah, right.
It's on my calendar.
It's on your calendar.
It's
so
on my calendar.
There's a couple churches that I think are celebrating church anniversaries coming up real soon. Spirit of Life, Pastor Gaines. I talked to Pastor Gaines.
Hey, yeah, shout out to Pastor Gaines.
Pastor Gaines, that's my buddy, man. I know they're celebrating church anniversary, so shout out to Spirit of Life, celebrating another year of service to God and community. Greg's getting ready to celebrate pastoral anniversary. Collins,
Sweet Home.
Yeah. So shout out to them for another year of pastoral service.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's all I can think of. Again, if you have any comments, questions, you can always send a message to our YouTube channel or email us. The email addresses are attached to both YouTube and Apple Podcasts. For those that listen to us on Apple Podcasts. There's nothing else. Can't think of anything. Man, until next time, y'all watch over each other, pray for each other. All we have is each other. Until we see you guys again, grace and peace.